Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is Joseph Maldonado. In this video, I'm going to show you how to check your oil clearances between your camshafts and your lifters. I'll show you the tools you're going to need to use and the numbers you're going to need to know to do this job. I'm also going to show you how to remove the shims without removing the camshafts. So I hope you enjoy this video. Alright, so here we are. Go over some of the tools you're going to need to do this job. You're going to need a feeler gauge to measure the clearance. You're going to need this special tool here that compresses down the bucket so you can take the shims out. This is a locking tool that comes with that. I purchased this off of Amazon. You're going to need a magnet, big or small. You'll find out which one works best for you and what I end up using. This little screwdriver might come in handy to pry the shims out. To turn the cam, you're going to need a 15/16 to go on the cam. That's going to go right here on both cams. Has a spot for you to put a wrench and turn the cam. That'd be the best way to do it. You could turn it from the nut in the front, but you'd be better off just doing it that way. You look in your service manual also, just in case you don't have one. You can go back and pause on this. But it does show you different examples of where the cams could be, and you can check the correlating lobes with each other here. So it shows that order. Unfortunately, I can't find my micrometer. It's been a long time. So as far as switching them, once I use the feeler gauge, I'll be able to see which ones are tight or loose, and I'll be able to swap them that way and then recheck them once I swap them. But the best way to do it is to have this, but there are ways around it if you don't have that. And I know some people might be in that circumstance, so that might help them as well. These are the numbers you'll need to know. This is going to be your intake, 0.15 millimeters to 0.25 millimeters, and your exhaust is going to be 0.20 millimeters to 0.30. All right. Alright, on the exhaust side, first step, you're going to put your 15/16 wrench on here. And if you look inside the manual, it's telling you that it wants you to start with, it's calling this one number 1. So number 1 and then the 5th one. And you want these lobes both in an up position so that you can put the feeler gauge. So in this case, it ends up right here, and number 5 ends up right here, almost pointing at the bolt. Alright, once you have it in that position, then you're going to remember your measurements. And as you can see, for the exhaust side, you have 0.20 millimeters and 0.30 on the exhaust side. So you need to be in between this here. So you take your feeler gauge and you're going to find 0.30 and 0.20. Hope you can see that. This thing's kind of hard to see. Right there. So 0.20 and 0.30. And for your thousandths, 0.30 is 0.012 thousandths. 0.20 millimeters is 0.008 thousandths. Alright, so we'll start first with the lower end, which is the 0.20. And really that's your most important. You need at least that minimum clearance, because once these parts heat up, you could have a catastrophic engine failure here in this area. So my 20 millimeters fit. Now I'm going to go to the higher end on the 12, on the 30 millimeters. So 30, this one can fit, but it needs to be kind of snug. If it doesn't fit, that's fine. It's nice and tight. As long as your 20 fits, you're good to go. So the first one, it doesn't fit. The second one, it does fit. Now, I don't really feel it grabbing much, so I marked this one as L, as loose. As I said, I don't have the micrometer, so I'm gonna have to find a tighter one, and I could swap these and then recheck it again. So that'll be helpful for anyone that doesn't have certain tools. All right, so this one is loose. So if I find a tighter one, I'll be able to swap it. So then I'll go back to number 5, and then again we'll start with our minimum. That one fits. Then we'll go over to our higher end. Doesn't fit. Doesn't fit. So that one checks out good. And as you can see here with a marker, you can go along and check them, which ones are good. You can put an L for loose, T for tight, you know, whatever you want to do. It's your build. You can do it however you want, as long as you stay within the specs. It doesn't matter. Now the book wants you to do 3 and 6. So I'll go ahead and turn this, and we want 1, 2, 3, and we want 6 up. So again, we're gonna have to turn it. The third one is gonna end up right here, and then the 6th one will end up right here. Same thing, point 20, point 30. You can start in the front wherever you want. You got the point 20. It's good. This one doesn't fit. Those are nice and tight. You go back here. Back here, my 20, which is on the low end, is actually tight. The back one, not so much. But see, I marked those T for tight. So this rear one is tight, but it's tolerable. It's fine. This first one here is really tight. So I could take that tight one and swap it out with this loose one in the front on number 1. And then I can go back and recheck it again. You see how that works? So. Now, once you go through and you check these all, I've already been through. Again, I'm just showing you, how to do it. You will take these pliers here and this locking tool, right? So if I spin it back around and go back to my number 1 on the loose one, all right. Again, this was 1 and 5, so we're gonna put it like in that same position again. Now you'll take these pliers. These pliers go around the cam, right on the edge of the bucket. And you're gonna have to make sure you have some good light for this, by the way. But you get this right on the edge of this bucket, and you'll be able to push this bucket down. So I'll go ahead and lock this first one in place. So you get it down, and then it comes with this locking tool, which swings around the cam on the other side. Once you have the locking tool in place, now it's stuck in the down position. I'll go ahead and bring it down and show you this. You'll see that that bucket is stuck in the down position now, and the locking tool is on the other side. What I'll do here is I'll grab this tool, give you a better idea of what I was doing with it. Alright, with the pliers, you put them around the cam, right next to the lobe of the cam, and then as you turn it, it will press down on the bucket just like the cam does. Once you have it all the way in the down position, then you will insert the locking tool from the other side. This is the locking tool in position. It's underneath the cam, and it's wedged between the side edge of the bucket and under the cam. Right there, right on that edge. You use the pliers around the cam, like the cam lobe. It presses down, and then you lock it in with that tool. After you have that locked in place, you can use a small flathead screwdriver. Let's see, right here to pry up on the shim. That will lift the shim up. and you can take a magnet, and then you'd be able to actually grab the shim and yank it out of there. That'd be the easiest way to get a hold of that thing. Alright, when you're done with the exhaust, you're going to move on to the intake. The intake is 0.15 millimeters and 0.25 millimeters. You're going to have to, as it shows in the book, an order to follow when checking them, because it has the corresponding lobes that are in the up position at the same time, which will make it faster and easier instead of going in order. So you could start right here with the first and the fourth. You would take your 15/16, turn it until the first is up and the fourth is up. Again, they're not directly straight up to the center of the cap. They're kind of up toward the bolt, but they are in the up position where you can check them both. Once they're there, then you would take your filler gauge, and you'd have on the filler gauge your 0.25 and 0.15 millimeters. I always start with the tight gap, which is the 15, making sure it has at least that minimal clearance, which they do. Then you can switch over to the 0.25 and check the higher clearance, and either it doesn't fit or it's going to be nice and snug. Alright, this one fits, but it's very snug, and the very front doesn't fit at all. But we know we have minimal clearance, so it's good to go. Then you take your wrench again, and now you're going to move on, and it shows number 3 and number 5. 1, 2, 3. Take your wrench, spin around. Now I have number 3 and number 5 in the up position. Once again, 15 millimeter. I check that first. I got my minimal clearance. Go back, check the top clearance. Doesn't fit, doesn't fit, doesn't fit, doesn't fit. That one's good. Next step, number 2 and number 6. Spin it again. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So second one up, number 6 up. 15 millimeter. Good, 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 good. 25. Snug, snug. Doesn't fit, doesn't fit. So those are good as well. So the intake side is good to go. Everything checks out on the intake side. The exhaust side, I ended up switching 2 of them, and I got lucky and it worked out and it solved the clearance issue. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. The timing belt is off of here at the moment, so it made it easier for me to just turn these. I have the some engines are interference and some are not. I always just take it back from top dead center on the piston if the belt's off, just to be safe, and then I can do what I need to do and not worry about any interference with the piston and the valve. It's just good practice as you switch from different engines. You can avoid an issue there. But it's very simple. Just make sure you keep everything lubed up. This engine has assembly lube all over everything from recently building it, so the assembly lube does a really good job at staying on the surface. You know, it collects, and then every time I spin it, it comes right back up. And I use the that Lucas assembly lube right here, and this stuff works great. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Another way to do this is to measure them all, write down the measurements. You can, you know, with a micrometer, measure them all and then figure out the math. The book shows you how to do all that stuff, but you would have to actually take all these caps off and pull the cams out. I mean, this depends. But this is just, I just wanted to show you guys this way of doing it. Alright guys, so that will complete checking the oil clearances. I hope that helped you out. And if you have any questions or anything, just hit me up in the comments and I'll try my best to get back to you. Other than that, I appreciate you watching the video. Give me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And I hope to see you on the next one. Peace.